I thought what separated me from the life I wanted was luck, connections, or some special talent I didn't have. Until I discovered one thing that changed the game. Millionaires don't have superpowers. They just have different habits. And when I started observing these habits, quietly, attentively, without judgment, I realized that the difference between me and them wasn't unreachable. It was behavioral. It was routine. It was choice. The truth? The way I was acting every day didn't support the woman I wanted to become. And from the moment I began applying the habits I saw in women who were already where I wanted to be, everything changed. My income changed. My posture changed. My choices changed. And, most importantly, the way I see myself today is completely different. In this video, I'm going to share the 7 habits that made me flip the switch and how you can apply them right now in practice. So go ahead and hit like, subscribe to the channel, and get ready. What's coming next might be the turning point you've been waiting for. 1. They guard their focus like it's a vault. And I learned to do the same. Before I understood this, I always felt busy, but never productive. My days were a mix of notifications, urgent requests from others, social media, and that constant feeling of running late, even without knowing exactly why. The first habit I noticed in millionaires was this: they don't negotiate their focus. They don't spend their lives putting out fires. They create environments, routines, and boundaries that shield their attention like it's gold, because it is. And I decided to copy it. I turned off phone notifications. I scheduled time blocks when nobody could interrupt me. I picked one goal per week and ditched the rest. At first it felt strict, but within days, something changed. I started completing tasks that had held me back for months, and that gave me momentum, clarity, confidence. Today, my focus is shielded, because I understood whoever has focus has power, and whoever gets distracted pays dearly. Are you protecting your attention or giving it away for free? Comment, I guard my focus like an asset. If you get that, wealth starts with concentration. 2, they treat money like business partners, not emotional consumers. This habit hurt, because it forced me to look at my bank statement more honestly than ever. Before, I treated money as a resource that came and went, sometimes to relieve stress, other times to fill holes I didn't even want to face. But watching these women, I noticed something glaring. They treat every dollar with strategy, not with emotion. They don't spend on impulse. They move it with intention. I decided to do the same. I created a weekly routine to review income, expenses, and goals. I separated what was for consumption from what was for investment. I started making decisions based on the future I want, not the anxiety of the now. This habit taught me that money isn't the end. It's a tool. And when I began treating it as growth capital, it started to multiply. Because I stopped wasting it on things that don't build. Today, if something doesn't bring me closer to the woman I want to be, I simply don't buy it. Because I know exactly where I want to go. Are you controlling your money or letting it slip away through decisions you didn't even review? Comment, I manage it like a partner in my freedom. If this habit needs to land in your routine too. 3, they speak clearly about what they do, and I learned to do the same. For a long time, if someone asked me what I did, I stammered. I beat around the bush, used vague words. Deep down, I was afraid. Afraid of sounding arrogant, afraid of positioning myself strongly, afraid of seeming full of myself. But one day, hearing a woman describe her work with such precision, without arrogance but with firmness, my light bulb went off. If you don't speak clearly, you won't be received with authority. I went home and rewrote the entire way I introduced myself. I gave a name to what I do. I summarized my offering in one objective sentence. I practiced my pitch like I was rehearsing for a stage presentation. And when I began speaking with conviction, the market responded. People stopped asking, but what exactly do you do? And started saying, I want to understand how I can hire you. This habit changed my positioning, my communication, and my revenue. Because the clarity I gained about myself became a mirror for others. Are you introducing yourself with fear or with direction? Comment, I speak like a specialist. If this habit reminded you how important it is to position yourself with precision. 4, they don't romanticize exhaustion. They build structure so they don't rely on brute force. For a long time, I thought being tired was a good sign. That the more exhausted I was, the more productive I must be. Until my body started showing signs, my mind began to falter, and my energy simply vanished. By observing millionaires, I learned they don't win by pushing through exhaustion. They win through structure. They don't wake up every day running on sheer willpower. They build systems, rituals, and processes that work, even when their energy dips. So I stopped everything. I created a realistic focus routine. I automated tasks that drained me. I set clear time boundaries, including with myself. And the craziest part? When I stopped killing myself with overwork, I started producing more. Because my energy wasn't being drained by urgencies, it was being used to think, decide, and lead. Today, my work doesn't rely on how tired I am. It relies on how intelligently I organize. And that became one of my biggest growth levers. Are you growing with structure? Or destroying yourself trying to prove you can do it all? Comment. I grow with structured ease. If this habit reminded you to stop fighting against your own body and mind. 5. They know exactly how much they want to earn, and why I used to have a fuzzy relationship with financial goals. I thought setting a number was pressure, dreaming big was arrogance, and talking about money was inappropriate. So I let things happen. I worked hoping the month would go well, that clients would show up, that things would just work out. But when I started studying the behavior of truly wealthy women, I noticed they have absurdly specific goals. And most importantly, they know exactly why they want that number. I decided to do the same. I set my quarterly revenue goal. I broke that goal down into weekly targets and practical actions. I created a Friday ritual to review progress. The effect was immediate. My brain switched to solution mode. Every piece of content had more intention. Every meeting had more focus. And every day had more direction. Because when you're clear on the number, the how starts to show up. Today I don't work in the dark. I know what I want, what's missing, and what I need to do. And that sense of control turned into freedom. Do you have a number, or just a wish? Comment. My goal has a number and a deadline. If you've realized that wealth isn't about luck, it's about direction. 6. They don't do everything alone. And I had to swallow my pride to learn this. I grew up hearing that strong women handle everything. And I tried. I created content, served clients, managed emails, ran social media, solved every problem. Until one day I just froze. I couldn't create anymore. I was exhausted, frustrated, unproductive. That's when I realized it wasn't a lack of ability. It was too much control. Millionaire women don't do it all. They delegate. They build processes. They trust. And that's what I had to learn. Not out of luxury, but out of survival. I started small. I hired help for operational tasks. I used automation tools. I trained someone to support me where I was spending the most energy. And what happened? I finally had space to do what really matters. Think, create, lead. My energy came back. So did my creativity. And with them, real growth followed. Today, I understand that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's strategy. And no one building something big does it completely alone. Are you stuck trying to do it all? Or have you realized that making space is the first step to growing? Comment. I delegate to lead better, if this habit needs to be your next step. 7. They make decisions based on the woman they're becoming, not the one they are today. This was the most challenging habit, and the most liberating. Because for a long time, I made decisions based on who I was at that moment. Limited, insecure, just trying to get by. And of course, my choices reflected that. But one day I stopped and wrote down, who is the woman I want to be in 12 months? How does she think? What does she tolerate? Where does she invest her time, money, energy? And I started deciding as if I were already her. It was uncomfortable. I made choices that felt too big for me. I said no to invitations I would have accepted without hesitation. I bet big on myself when everything around me said to wait a little longer. But little by little, that woman who only existed in my mind started to become real. Today, I act based on who I'm building. And that guides everything. What I do, what I ignore, what I nurture. Because I understood that the rich, powerful woman I want to become won't be born from small, safe decisions. She'll come from the courage to get ahead of myself. Are you deciding based on who you are, or who you're becoming? Comment. My decisions follow my next version, if this hit right where you are right now. I didn't wake up rich. I didn't stumble upon a magical mentor. I didn't have a divine lightning bolt moment. What I had were ordinary days, followed by intentional choices, and most importantly, the courage to let go of who I was to make space for who I wanted to become. None of these habits require special talent. What they require is presence, consistency, and the decision to stop postponing your next version. If you apply even one, your life will start to shift. If you apply them all, 2025 will find you unrecognizable in the best possible way. Now comment, my habits build my freedom if you're starting this process today. And if this video gave you clarity, vision, and direction, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a woman who's also ready to change everything, from the inside out. Because you don't need more time. You need new habits, and the woman who will reap the rewards can start being built right now.